Welcome to API Bytes. My name is Shreyans Mehta and co-founder CTO at Cequence Security. And today we're going to dive into the world of API security and how it compares to the traditional API gateways, load balancers, CDNs, and web application firewalls, and why they might not be enough. Many organizations actually mistakenly believe that API gateways and CDNs are the one-stop shop for all the security they need, especially API security. These gateways and CDNs handle encryption, authentication, authorization, sometimes even DDoS protection well. If you look at API security, it is not just about the things about authentication, authorization. It is about shadow APIs, it's about the business logic that these APIs might be exposing. These traditional gateways and CDNs actually do not cover any of such API security methods. On top of that, what we also found using an API spider tool is typically large enterprises have more than 12 plus API gateways and CDNs in their environment. So a single gateway or a single CDN cannot protect all the APIs that are actually flowing into these enterprises. You need a solution that oversees all these different environments that they have in their organization and be able to provide a unified way to protect them all. Yeah, so if you look at traditional web security, it could be a web application firewall, it could be a RASP or any other protection measures that you have in place. What they focus on is web attacks, SQL injection attacks, cross-site scripting. When you look at APIs, which is no longer your HTML or a JavaScript, but is actually comprised of gRPC, XML, JSON, REST APIs, the traditional attack vectors don't necessarily apply here. What you have to worry about is the business logic that can be abused that these APIs are actually exposing. Like a retailer who has a business logic about transacting on top of APIs, they might be exposing gift card numbers, their balances on a certain API endpoint. These APIs can be abused where the bad guys can actually commit fraud on the gift card APIs. They can steal, enumerate through gift card numbers. Telecoms is a different vertical. They worry about hype sales around iPhone launches or abuse happening because somebody fraudulently took away your eSIM and then moved it to another cell phone without your knowledge. On top of that, you need to make sure that these APIs are properly authenticated. You need to make sure that your developers are not rolling out shadow and rogue APIs. They're not exposing sensitive information, and if at all they need to, they are properly authenticated and authorized. There have been many breaches that have happened in the recent past. Let's take an example of a very large telecom, trusted by millions of users. They faced a nightmare scenario where they lost millions of their customer records, their personally identifier information like passport numbers, addresses, emails, phone numbers, over an accidentally exposed test API that was backed by a real database, real customer database. And the bad guys figured out that it was exposing this information, it was actually unauthenticated. And they just enumerated through different customer identifiers to exfiltrate this information, which is a multi-step attack where a security solution needs to be able to, number one, uncover a shadow or a shadow endpoint the developer mistakenly exposed to the internet. Make sure that whatever is getting exposed is properly authenticated. Understand what kind of information that is going back and forth. So if in this case it was PII information that was getting exposed over the API, uncover that, and in case of an abuse, being able to detect and natively protect the sophisticated attack that was actually flowing through. That's all for today's episode of API Bytes. Hopefully, you found these insights valuable. Use them as you navigate through the complex world of API security. Thank you.